Hi, it's Amy from Plan.Craft.Repeat. I thought I would film a walkthrough video of a project I recently set up using Cocoa Daisy's Autumn Thicket collection. Some of you may know I'm on the Cocoa Daisy memory keeping creative team this year, but I also subscribe to their main planner and planner add-on kits. So when I was sitting down thinking about what kind of projects I wanted to work on this month, I decided I wanted to work on a project that I can incorporate all the different kits that come to my mailbox each month. And this is what I came up with. I'm calling it my memory planner journal. There may be a better name for it, but that's what I'm going with for the moment. This memory planning journal is set up in a ring binder system. However, the main pages of this notebook are set up using the A5 Daisy Dory booklet. If you're not familiar with the booklet, it comes with a cardstock cover and is bound with staples on the spine. So I disassembled my Daisy Dory and cut the pages apart so I could move them around how I wanted in this notebook. I created a cover using the 13 by 8.5 pattern paper from the main planner kit. You can also find this paper in the classified memory keeping kit. And I decorated it up using that really cute Hello Autumn acrylic piece, a sticker, a die cut, a few enamel dots, and some messy thread. On the back side of the cover, I used some printables to create a pocket. I selected one of the images and enlarged it to actually make the pocket, and then I fussy cut it out. It's a great place for me to tuck some of the stickers that I want to use throughout my journal. I also printed out a 4x6 journaling card, which I fussy cut, and then I adhered some foam adhesive behind it to add a little dimension, just to add a little bit of something extra to the pocket. The first page of my notebook is the calendar page from the Daisy Dory. Now, in terms of using this for planning, I am not going to put tentative plans on this. I'm not going to handwrite on this page. I am going to add events that we participated in after. So that way I can go on my computer, type it out, print it out on clear sticker sheet, and then adhere it to the appropriate days, because I write much too large to be able to handwrite in this calendar. On the back side of that calendar page, I have titled it This Month. And how I'm going to use this particular page is it's going to be a place where I jot down some of the big highlights for the month. It's going to be a great page for me to refer to when I have the time to actually sit down and do some documenting in my 6x8 album or in one of my boys' personal albums. I'll have documented here first a couple of sentences that are highlights from the month, and I can then grab this and refer back to when it's time for me to actually document in one of my albums. The other thing I decided to include was the Cocoa Daisy Fall Bucket List and the October journaling prompts. Because it's a journal, I thought this would be great inspiration on those days where not a whole lot might be happening around the house, but I want to journal about something. I can take from one of these prompts and then have something to journal about. Now you'll notice that my notebook is set up into two sections, a notes section and a journaling section. And I created some dividers. This first divider is made from the pattern paper found in the memory keeping kits. I took a tab from the planner add-on kit and used a dashboard, a personal size dashboard, mounted it onto some brown cardstock and added it to the front of this divider just to give it a little something extra. Now I'm calling this section a notes section, but it's not really a notes section, but yet it is, I guess, a notes section. I have set it up in a vertical format. And there's 2 days per page where I can write down, kind of in a list format, the happenings from our day. And in this section, it's really going to be words and maybe some stamping. There's not going to be any photos. However, I may use a stamp image, but there's not going to be any actual photos. It's all going to be word based. The photos, that's going to come in the second section of this notebook. At the beginning of each week, I've created a column that is this week. And how I'm envisioning using the column will be a place for me to possibly write currently's, what I'm currently reading, what I'm currently watching, what I'm currently enjoying, kind of a weekly overview of my currently's. I might also use it as a place to write a recap of the week. Another one of my thoughts is to leave it as a spot where maybe I don't have any photos for a story, but it's a big highlight of the week, so I kind of want to go into more depth on it. That would also be a really great place for me to write that down. So again, 2 days per page. And then I also have included the weekly striped pages. And you'll notice that I cut them an inch shorter than the A5 page. And I took just an inch off this left-hand side, and I did that so that way they're just easy to flip back and forth, and easy to distinguish between my actual memory planning pages. I took the acrylic calendar card and I created a bookmark. I punched a hole at the top and I used one of those cute little tag toppers that we got in the memory keeping kits this month. And I put some natural ribbon and twine, created myself a bookmark. I added some washi tape to the top so that way if I wanted to temporarily adhere something down, I had some washi tape on hand, punched some holes on the side. I even made some slits so that way if I wanted to, I can just very easily pop that right in. The other thing that I didn't make note of was I created slits in my striped weeklies. That way, as I move throughout a week, I can also move my weekly page. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to use these weekly pages yet. I have a couple of ideas. I'm thinking I could do like a health and wellness tracker. I could do a 1 sentence a day. I could just use it to jot little notes down prior to me actually writing it in the memory planning column. But we will see. I might try a couple of different ideas throughout the month before I set on a solid idea. And if you have any ideas on how I could use those weeklies in a memory keeping sense, shoot me a comment. I'd love to hear. So, as I was setting up these pages, I had decided that I was going to stamp on clear matte sticker paper because one, I was a little worried that there would be some ghosting and I wouldn't like the way it looked, so I thought it was safer to just stamp it. And then I thought, what if I mess up, make something really, really crooked? Well, I did really well. I don't think I had to double stamp anything. And so I decided when I was creating my weeklies, I was going to stamp directly onto my weekly pages. And as you can see, I was going really good up until the 25th. And then I prepped my stamp for 26 and that stamp block just popped right out of my hands and just landed on the page. Luckily, it landed in the blue stripe, so all is good. It's a little goofy looking, but we're just gonna roll with it. Accidents happen. It's all good. It's done, right? Okay, so now we're into the second section, which I have labeled journaling. This is where all the fun stuff is gonna happen. So once again, I pulled a tab from the planner add-on kit. This time I actually used one of the dashboards to create the divider page. This particular quote card was from the planner add-on kit, and again, I mounted it on some dark cardstock. I thought the quote was perfect. I don't have to chase extraordinary moments to find happiness. It's right in front of me if I'm paying attention and practicing gratitude. So I thought that was perfect to enter into my actual journaling section. Now, if you're not familiar with the dashboards, they are one-sided. So the back sides are white. So what I ended up doing was taking another dashboard and adhering them together. So that way I would have designs on both sides of that divider. In my journaling section, I have added lots of fun. I have sprinkled throughout pocket pages. That way I can incorporate some of the pieces from the Modern Memory Keeping Kit and from the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kits. So this first little pocket is just a 3x4 pocket, and I selected the I Love Autumn 3x4 journaling card, and it's providing me a prompt, things I love about autumn. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to list things I love about autumn. Then I've inserted this 2x2 pocket insert where I've obviously decorated some of the pockets already using some of the pattern paper from the memory keeping kits. There's stickers, there's chipboard, there's die cuts, enamel dots. This is even one of those quote leaves that were in the memory keeping kits this month. It says, all I need is a good book and a cup of cozy. So I, instead of keeping it a leaf, because the leaf was too big for this square, I trimmed it down to make it look like a little banner. And then in each of these remaining pockets, I'm going to print out 2x2 photos that correspond to the things that I love about autumn. I pulled out another tab from the planner add-on kit, labeled it currently, because as you flip the page, I'm now going to have a currently section. This is going to be a monthly overview of currentlies. So one of the things that I want to track and make note of are the books that I read this month. I've been doing really well reading every day, and so I want to make note of that on here with a tracker, and then I'll list all the books that I read. I also want to make note of what I'm watching throughout the month, and then on this side to the left, I am going to fill the pockets with photos. So I'll probably put a photo of one of my favorite books I read, maybe a favorite TV show, and some other photos of things that I was enjoying during the month of October. So one of the changes that was made to the A5 Daisy Dory booklets was the setup of the pages. So for those of you who remember, they were sectioned off into 3 rows. So there would have been a section here, a section here, and a section here. So for this particular layout, I chose to keep it in thirds. But by not having the stripes going across the page, it really allows for some flexibility and more creativity on these pages. So the way I've set up the rest of the book, I have it where I can share one story with one 2x2 photo for every day in the month of October. So for this page on the left, I have room for 3 stories and 3 photos. And on the page on the right, again, 3 stories and 3 photos. However, because I'm trying to use products from all my different kits, I decided to take my Simple Dory apart and pick out some of my favorite papers that coordinated nicely with these A5 papers to add more decor and scrapbooking in my journal. So on my page on the right, my page on the left, I have room for 2 photos and 2 stories, and I have inserted a Traveler's Notebook page where I can add a larger photo now or a longer story, and I can do some more decorating. So I've added some die cuts from the memory keeping kits. On the back page, Again, this is actually going to be like one story, but if I have multiple photos, I can now add multiple photos for that one story. I left this side blank, so I still have the opportunity to, you know, decide exactly what's going to go there and what kind of decorating I want to do. But then on the right hand side, I'm keeping it simple again. 2 stories, 2 photos. Here again. 3 stories, 3 photos. 3 stories, 3 photos. 3 stories, 3 photos. Another traveler's notebook page. This time I decided to use something kind of as a resting point because there's going to be all these photos and all the journaling, and I just wanted a place just to keep it simple. So this is my keep it simple. However, on the back side, I've given myself the room to add another larger photo and do some journaling. And then it goes back to 2 stories, 2 photos. 2 stories, 2 photos. But this time I actually went in a vertical, or I'm thinking about going in a vertical format. I have also included 2 3x4 pockets. So I have added some decor on this first 3x4 pocket, and then I inserted one of the 3x4 memory keeping pocket cards. It was an October day. So I can either tell a story here or I can just include another photo. On the back side, again, I'm giving myself the room for a larger photo, and I've taken the paper from the notepad that comes in the main planner kit, and I just simply cut off the top. They're already 3 inches wide, so I just needed to make it 4 inches tall. So that way it fit nicely inside my pocket. This is going to be a great journaling space. Once again, I added in another simple Dory page. I've slotted it to have a 3x4 photo, but I could very easily have 2 2x2 photos and do some journaling. I added a tag that I made, once again, using the tag toppers to embellish the top of my tag. Another resting point. 2 more stories, 2 more photos, and now we're towards the end of the album. And this is Halloween. Now, my kids are getting older, so I'm not really sure what they're going to be doing for Halloween, but I did allow for 3 photos, not 3 stories, 3 photos. Now, there's some talk about them dressing up, but if they don't dress up, I do have a little something up my sleeve, little baking, little treat buckets filled with their favorite candy. So those photos might be what go here. I did take this jack-o'-lantern page out of the Simple Dory and decided that this would be a great place for my Halloween edition, this or that. Now I didn't get the Halloween kit from Coco Daisy this year, but I did get it from last year. So I used some of the stickers and some stamps from that collection, and it was actually a round word stamp that I stamped on some clear sticker paper, and Fussy cut out the words and made this scallop border at the bottom, so it says Hocus Pocus, this is Halloween, trick or treat, so spooky, boo. So I still need to come up with my this or that. And on the back side, again, one more opportunity to tell a story, include a photo, just whatever I might need the space for. And then I have this last page. So I have a couple of ideas for the last page. I'm thinking about having a tracker here. I usually track a couple of different things throughout the month. So it could be a tracker page. It could be an end of the month highlight page. But if you have an idea of what I can do on this page, please leave me a comment in the comments. I would love to hear other people's ideas. I always love ideas from other people. So, love to hear from you. But again, this is it. This is my memory planning journal that I used all the different kits to create. Hopefully you got some inspiration from it. Thank you so much for stopping by.